So I wanted to share my experience in the last several weeks with regard to the power of when you've done this inner healing work, this shadow work, and you're moving through spiritual growth and awakening. Because I'm coming out of that intensive phase. I've been out of it for about a year now. And a lot of what I've been moving through has been learning how to be in this new version of myself that is beginning to emerge from this whole process. And I would say that the intensive phase of this process started in May of 2022 for me. I had been doing a lot around mindset for several years before that. The physical health stuff I'd been doing for decades, working out and eating well and that kind of stuff. And working on learning to love and accept myself at every stage of the journey and every place that I'm at different points in my life. After struggling for a long time with that as well. So the thing with a lot of this is that it's very inward, and your focus goes within as you're learning to become more aware of your dominant thought paradigm and your mindset and the stories that you tell yourself and the things that you come to believe based on past experiences, particularly things related to past trauma, past hurts, moments in your life that were particularly painful or difficult to navigate through. And once you've kind of moved through all of that, it's a very layered process that takes quite a while. I think it's different for everybody, and I think it also depends on your age and how much you have to unpack, so to speak. So through this whole thing, right, as a single mother, I have 3 kids. I have 2 boys and a girl, and things come up with your kids. And as you're learning and moving through this process, your parenting is also evolving in subtle ways, and you're integrating these things that you're learning and this wisdom as you go. And you don't really see it as it's happening. And so the other night, a couple days ago, some stuff had come up with my oldest, and this is something that I've been working with him on for over a year, some things that he's been going through. He's a teenager. He just turned 14 in December, and he's just going through a lot of the stuff that comes with that as you transition from a kid into a teen, into a young man. And so all of the things that come with that, but there's been some other stuff that he's been doing, I guess you could say, behaviors that he doesn't understand, and he was struggling to kind of figure out, I don't know why I'm doing this, and I don't know why I'm feeling this. And so we had a long conversation the other night, and I was talking him through these things, and without realizing it in the moment, I was integrating and using a lot of these same tools I've used for my own healing and growth with him, and just talking him through the different things. Why do you think you're doing this? What do you think is behind it? When did you notice that you started doing this? And then we got to why he's feeling a certain way. When did you start feeling that way? What do you think it was? And that led us to kind of where he could remember what it was that he had started feeling a certain way and what caused it and when it was. And so we went from there. And the reason I wanted to share this is because after we talked, I could just see the weight that had lifted from him. I could see his whole body and his whole energy had just shifted in such a positive way in that moment. And the whole rest of the evening, he just seemed lighter. He seemed more like his self again, just feeling happy and being goofy and all that kind of stuff. And that was when I realized the way that this work will start to ripple out to other people around you. On the one hand, it's an energetic signature. It's an energetic wave that you start sending out. It's different than whatever that wave was before you start. But when I was having this conversation with him, and as I've been navigating this with him over the last year plus, when it first came up over a year ago, it raised a lot of fear and concern in me. And then you're kind of dealing with all of that internally as a parent. And then now you have your own fears and worries to deal with. But the other night, none of that was there. And it was just much more calm. And I think that has a lot to do with how far I've come and a lot of the growth that I've made, the progress that I've made, but also I was able to stay more calm and objective and looking at the situation, applying sort of the observer effect to it, where you're looking at it as more of a third party and you're staying neutral and you're giving yourself space and time before you make any sort of assessment or judgment or emotional feeling about whatever's happening. It's almost like you're learning how to watch it as if it's a movie or something, and not allowing the emotions to get the better of you. And I'm realizing how much that also helped him, because he felt safer, and he also was able to understand that there's nothing wrong with him. There's nothing about what he's feeling or going through is wrong or bad. It's just his body and his mind and his spirit trying to signal to him where to draw attention and what's going on inside of him. And him being young and not understanding those feelings and all of those emotions, not knowing how to navigate them, so he was acting out in certain ways because he didn't know how else to deal with it. So I just can't emphasize enough how valuable this work is. I don't think it can be overstated at all, especially when you have kids and when you're parenting, because it all trickles down. Your own healing is also healing them, and it's helping them in the long run. And he's getting a lot of these tools that I didn't have when I was his age from me now at a young age, where he will be able to integrate and apply these throughout his life, which I believe will help change the trajectory of it. It will help him potentially avoid a lot of the stuff that I went through, or at least not having to spend so much time being stuck in a certain way, or being more aware, so that you don't end up adopting these lies and these limiting beliefs that we end up adopting without that awareness. So if you've been curious about doing this work, or you just wonder if it's worthwhile, because sometimes it can seem like it's not, and sometimes it can be hard to see the progress that you're making. It can be hard to see the changes, but it is 100% worthwhile. And this is just one of the benefits of doing this work. And it just strikes me so deeply now, because it's not even just how I can help my children, but how you can help other people, because you've navigated these things and you've found the map, you've found the path, you have this toolkit, and you can use that to help other people navigate their own journey, so that maybe it doesn't have to be as long, or maybe it doesn't have to be as lonely or hard or whatever.